Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Mind Your Soul. And today we're talking about autism. So I named this title Autism Beyond the Stereotypes. And we have Rick with us today. Welcome,
Yeah,
Rick.
thank you. Hello.
You- Yeah, hello. You've been here before. We did the
Yes.
longevity podcast. So this is your second time coming on. And
Yes, I like
this
it.
time, yeah, and I feel so excited for this. And this time is because you were recently diagnosed with autism. And I thought this is a good way to talk more about things that, yeah, people have stereotypes about. And you actually titled this episode. So yeah,
Cool.
this is the reason why you're here because you are artistic and many people don't even know what that is. What does it mean?
Yes.
Yes. So Rick,
And I didn't for some time as well.
you didn't yourself. Okay.
Yeah, I had
Let,
no idea.
let's start there. Like, how did you find out, number one, that you were autistic? Number two, what does it even mean to be autistic? Let's just start there.
Yes, so how did I find out? I actually went to therapy because of other stuff, and then I found out. So it was mainly because of depression back then, and they noticed like few things. And actually depression comes very it's very common to have depression when you are autistic.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's like they are holding hands sometimes, depression and anxiety as well. But yeah, so that's like just I wanted to maybe understand more about myself and search for it. And well, when we look for things we find it. And there it
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just have to be curious, like Dora the Explorer, like I always say.
They're
Like
the explorer, yeah.
yeah, because kids are always curious, they're always exploring. But we as adults, we stop exploring and then life becomes boring. We get depressed, we get anxiety because we stop like to be curious. And so I think everything begins with curiosity. Yeah.
Yes, and it really helped to me to understand more about myself and about my life and why I act and behaved and used to behave the way I did. So it was very helpful, actually. Very, very helpful.
Okay, that's good to know. I think everybody should be questioning themselves and be on the
Yeah.
self-discovery journey. Okay, so now you know you're autistic, but what does it mean? What is
What
autism, Rick?
does what does it mean? Like in a more scientific way? Well, they call it neurodevelopmental uh I don't want to say disorder, but
No,
well,
divergent, I think is called.
divergent, yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
neurodevelopmental
yes,
divergent.
yeah.
And well, it's kind of, I would define it as just being authentic because most of the times we are more authentic. We are just, we speak our minds and, you know, I think that's what it is. Just speaking our mind and trying to get along, trying to fit in society, which is kind of complicated for us. But yeah, so it would be like a neurodevelopmental thing, and our brains kind of works differently than neurotypical people's brain, but we can live together.
Of course, like it's not a disease. It's and
Yeah.
I don't. It's not a disorder either. So it's I
Yes.
always say it's a superpower if you know how to use it.
Superpower.
Yes,
Mm.
that's
Well,
what
I
I
think it
used to
dep
tell my clients. I tell my
yeah.
clients it's a superpower that
Well,
you're autistic.
superpower. I don't know if it's a superpower,
Okay.
but that's okay. I think it depends on like the degree of it. I know some people who are autistic and they have a really hard time living
Oh yeah, I
and
know
they
what
need
you
a
mean.
lot of
Like some,
support. But
yeah, some have
yeah,
more difficulties and depression. They are more prone to be depressed than others, and
yeah,
some have different like their degrees of autism as well. So I
yes,
understand. I know what you're saying, but I'm just
that's
saying
what they.
don't look at it like a disease or a disorder because it's part of you, and we're all unique
Yes,
beings, and that's why I call it superpower because maybe your brain is not the same as mine, but you have something else you're bringing to the table, which I'm not. And you might be struggling more or pushing harder for the things that might come easier to me, for instance, because I'm not autistic. That's why I
Yeah,
call it.
but some other things come easier maybe for me, I think. Like, when we have hyperfixation on stuff and we just can't stop doing that. So we can learn a lot of things, and that's cool.
Because you
That
get
really
obsessed.
is a good part. Yes, we get really
Yes, I
obsessed with
know
things.
that. Yeah. Okay, so we talked a little bit about that. So another question, we got some questions from on Instagram. We did a collab post, and so one asked, "What are some common misconceptions about autism?"
Some common misconceptions. I think the most common one is about like empathy. I've heard
Yeah.
a lot of people saying that. I don't know if you've heard that, but a lot of people believe that autistics cannot feel empathy, but that's really not the case.
No.
Actually, I don't know for other autistic people because we are all different. Just
Yes.
like neurotypicals are different from each other, autistics are all different as well.
Yeah.
But at least myself, I feel a lot of empathy, and that can be even overwhelming sometimes. Just like it gets me stuck, and I can do anything else but just have that feeling, because it's kind of hard to regulate our emotions sometimes and understand them.
Yeah. Because you're all
But
highly
yeah,
sensitive.
yes, and so the empathy comes along with that. We do feel it, but we just have a hard time expressing it.
That's the thing.
Uh,
So it doesn't mean that you don't feel it. Exactly.
yes,
That's
other
the
misconception I believe would be with maybe work, having a job. People may believe that autistics can have a job. It's hard to have a job. I've been like trying it for quite a while,
yeah.
but yeah, we can do it. I have a friend who is autistic, and she does great at her job, and it's been like more than a year that she's working at the same job, so we can be consistent at work as well.
Absolutely. I know
Yeah.
clients as well who have like difficult jobs, like in the hierarchy, and they're doing it full time. So it's a misconception for sure. Yeah.
Yes, and maybe a last one, just so we don't extend into this too much.
Yeah.
Uh, that we don't like to interact with people. That's not the case. We do. We just interact differently.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah,
okay. I mean,
that's
you're
okay.
social, but at the same time, you're also introverted. I think this is the trait about autistic people. Like they can be extroverted with the right people, and then they tend to like
Yes.
extract themselves because they're protecting themselves and they're feeling everybody's energy, and it just gets overwhelming. And
Yes. Oh, that's true. We feel people's energy a lot of the
yeah, you
time,
do.
and it can be
You do.
overwhelming.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes I
Yeah.
get really overwhelmed, and I don't understand why. And then it's like, I think it's the environment. Let me get out of
Yeah.
here.
You need small doses of that. Otherwise, it becomes too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the brain is having an overdose. So
Having an overdose. I
yeah,
like that.
yeah, that's how it feels. So, and we got so many more questions to go through.
Yes, it's
So
so cool. I
yeah,
love it.
it's so cool. People are very curious. So, what strengths or unique perspectives do individuals with autism bring to their communities?
Oh, a lot. There are so many. I actually have some notes here with people, famous people who were, I'm just
Let's
opening it
hear
up,
it.
who were autistic, and you know, we can bring a lot to the community. I just need to find it. Where is it? Not this one. This one. Found it.
Okay.
But we can get, as I said before, we can get really good at a particular thing when we hyperfixate on that. And there are many autistic people who go into the science world, so they can help with a lot of scientific stuff. We can, like, I found one here. Barbara Glintak. She was a scientist and she made important breakthroughs in the studies of chromosomes. And she, so she's thought to be autistic. It's not, she doesn't have a formal diagnosis, but
Okay.
she got a Nobel Prize and she refused to go. She
Oh wow.
almost refused the Nobel Prize because she didn't like social interactions and she was really focused on her work in a
Okay.
genetic field. So we can do a lot when it comes to science. And there's also the person who discovered hydrogen. It's like science again. Uh, he was autistic as well, like thought to be. He This is really funny because he did something that I do most of the times, which is he preferred to communicate through writing than words. And sometimes I just write stuff. I don't like to use my voice. And it was back in a time where we didn't have text message. So, well, it's like he discovered hydrogen, so it was way back then.
Mm.
And well, for the young people, we have like Elon Musk, who's autistic, and he's doing a lot of things for the
Absolutely.
community. So, and there are probably others, but yeah. Oh, in the economic field as well. So we talking about money here. There's like Dr. Vernon Smith. He was a professor of economics, and he won a Nobel Prize, and he's believed to have created a new type of economic field. So yeah, we can do a lot for the society. And here's something really interesting that he said, Dr. Vernon Smith, that he feels like for being autistic, he doesn't feel like this pressure that society puts into people.
Hmm.
Neurotypicals, they tend to feel this social pressure. We don't. So this helps with having more of an open-minded and not being afraid of having new ideas. So yeah, we're always having new
For
ideas.
sure.
Sometimes they don't work, but sometimes they do.
I think that goes for everyone. So no people. So yeah, I can relate with that as well. That's super cool. And what are some effective ways to support individuals with autism, like in
Ooh,
school, work, or
this
social
is
settings?
yeah, this is such a difficult
Yeah, it's
question.
it's a difficult question because school is a
Yeah,
different setting, work is a different setting. I agree with
yeah.
you.
Not only that, but as I've mentioned, like autistic people, they're all different. So some of them like hugs, others don't.
Yeah,
And so if you try to hug an autistic who doesn't like to be hugged, he's going to push you away,
yeah,
and
it's gonna
he's going to
backfire.
be rude. So
Yeah,
yes, so
yeah,
it's I believe like the main way to help that would work for most of us would be like having a room that is more free of sensory stimuli, and like you have dim light, you don't have noises, you have like headphones or things that just
yeah. The
block
zoom out
noises.
sounds. Yeah,
Yes, I believe that would be the most helpful, but
I
it's
think it's a good
hard.
advice. But that's not the reality in schools, right? Like even when
Yes,
they're in
that's
special schools, it's like sometimes when kids don't know, they're put in regular classes and they're like
yes,
overly stimulated and it just gets too much and then they're reacting because they're kids.
they're kids. Yeah, and the schools need like a professional who knows how
Yeah,
to deal with autistic people, but typically they don't have that.
exactly.
Not
So
only
this is a
schools, but
problem in
schools.
society, I see, and I have friends who have autistic kids and they're all struggling. Like even when they're in special school, they're still struggling with their kids
Yeah,
because it's like every day they are called like, oh, you're this and that did this, and they're like, oh my god, I'm at work. And it's like they have professionals but they don't have enough knowledge to handle, and it's just so
yes,
easy to call the parents, go come pick up your kid. And it's like I feel like the parents are struggling with this because society is lacking someone with specialty in kids, like
yes, and
kids,
kids and adults as well. So I
adults
think
as well. I agree.
the most effective way would then be for society to accept us and learn how to deal with us instead of just
Putting it on
expecting us to
TikTok.
learn how to deal with them. So
Yeah,
Um,
because they're putting those kids in a box, but they don't fit, right? And society is always doing that to us, putting us in boxes because they are
yeah.
like, oh, this system works. Yeah, but we're all different and it does not work for everyone.
Yes, that's so true.
Yeah. So this is like a society, like I feel like it's a whole shift of mindset that we are dealing
Yes,
with. Yeah.
absolutely. Society needs to shift their mindset towards
Yeah.
this.
So it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Um So the last question I think was, what role can media and education play in increasing autism awareness and acceptance?
Oh, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I think talking about it more often, and there's something that Netflix does very well, which is having autistic people playing roles of autistic people. So there's,
Oh, I didn't
I
know
don't
that.
remember. Yeah, there's some interesting TV shows in Netflix where they have autistic people playing the characters. I don't remember the name of the shows now,
Oh, we can Google it, all
unfortunately,
of us.
but yes, I'll try to Google it. I don't remember. Maybe
It's
if I open Netflix here, who
you
knows? It's
see the
gonna be
show's
like
name.
in the oh, but it's not gonna be in English.
You can say it in
Apparently, there's one here. Heartbreak High is
uh-huh.
one of them.
Okay, that's a TV show my girls watch, I think.
Oh, really? There's an autistic girl there, and the actress is autistic, if I'm
Oh,
not mistaken.
okay, interesting.
There's I'm not sure about a typical. I haven't watched that one because I don't know if the actor is autistic. I'm not sure. I
Autistic
haven't
or not. Yeah,
searched.
yeah, yeah.
There is one that is really really good, and I'm feeling bad that it's not there. I followed the actress on Instagram. I'm just gonna look it up. But
Cool.
yeah,
So she's autistic and
she is, and
she's
she
playing
plays
an
the
autistic person's role. That is super
and
cool.
it is just incredible. It's the best representation I have ever seen of autistic people in on TV. I'm not finding it, but anyways, you can just put it on later,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah. It's
just
fine. Let me know.
somewhere.
I can always write it in the description if I find it. Um,
Yes.
but
Oh,
that's
good,
really
good
cool
idea.
because I feel like many people don't know, and there are so many autistic people around us, and it's like there should be more like awareness because I would say 1 in 10 is autistic, like kids. Uh,
Yes, 1 in 10.
yeah,
1 in 10? No, I think it's 1 in 100, maybe, or 1 in 6.
really. I don't know. I
Yeah, I
know so
think it's
many autistic
one.
people.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's one in every 80 to 100 people,
Okay, but
children.
I in my head it was like in a classroom. I meant like one kid is always like autistic, or this
Oh,
is what
okay.
I've noticed. Because they don't know always when they're like in preschool if the kids are autistic or even ADHD, which is kind of clear, like easy to detect. They don't know, and their brain is like an overdose working, and they need special, like they need to be treated in a different way. Um,
Yes,
so
they
society
do
doesn't
need.
know, like they don't know, then how can they help them, right? So it begins with knowledge. We have to educate on autism, basically.
Yes, but I do think that it helps a lot. I think Netflix is doing a great job with the media and sharing more about autistic and helping people to accept it better.
So parents
Uh,
should watch Netflix. Is that what you're saying? To figure out the
watch
kids
Netflix.
autistic?
This is not a advertisement. We're not
For
being paid
Netflix,
for
it's
that.
not.
But yeah, watch Netflix. The right shows,
But Rick,
maybe.
you recently found out you were autistic, and you're what,
Yeah,
25?
I'm 26.
Oh, okay, 26. So you're 26 and you recently found out. So what happened? Like you're growing up, like your parents didn't detect it and society
Well,
didn't detect it. So something was failed, right? Something did not.
yes, and you know what? There's actually a reason for that. We tend to do what they call like masking. So we spend a lot of energy and this explains why I tend to feel so tired and exhausted. Like autistic people, they are exhausted all the time. So like
Yeah.
people have, I would say that we have a burnout every 2 weeks, to be honest, because
That doesn't sound
we
healthy.
no, that is not healthy at
Oh,
all. But that's mainly because we are doing our best to act like people who are not autistic would act. So, like walking, for
mm.
example, I copy people's way of walking, and
Oh my God.
every time I'm walking, I thought this was normal. I thought everybody did this. Like every step I take, I have to think about how I'm walking and like the movements I'm doing and the muscles I'm contracting.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
walk
This
in
sounds
a
so
yeah,
tough.
it is very tiring, and like
Mm,
looking at people the right way, using like tonalities. I think that's the word. The tone of voices. I
yeah.
It's
Tonalities.
something
Yeah.
that, yeah, tonalities, something that I also don't understand very well. So I'm just always thinking, okay, is that person being rude to me now?
Oh,
Are they happy? So I have
okay.
to be thinking about that, and it's very tiring. But yeah, we can, depending on the autism of the person, like how, I don't remember the words, the level of support they need. I
Yeah.
believe they can just camouflage themselves in a society and pass by as a non-autistic person. We have this ability. It's really interesting, I think, but it's very tiring as well. Gets a lot of energy.
So all these years you were doing that, you're probably still doing it, but have you let
Yes,
your guards down now more that you know you're autistic? Like, has it changed anything for you?
yes. Now I just don't care about being as normal as other people. I just, oh, if I
Good.
want to move, then I'm going to move. Oh, I found the best one here. I was looking for it, the TV show, and it's that one. No,
Which one?
it's not that one. Anyways, let's get let's get back to it. Oh, it is. It is. It's Heartbreak High, the TV
Okay.
show on autism. You can
Interesting.
just watch that if you want, or
Heartbreak
maybe
High.
not. No, it is not this one. It's another one.
It's okay,
I'm
Rick. Thank
not
you for
gonna be
trying.
happy. I have to find this now.
Yeah, now you're
Come
obsessed with it. Your
on.
brain is saying to
I
you,
am.
gotta find it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll
But let's
find
do
it
this
here.
after the
You
podcast,
guys,
then you can
yes.
find it.
Sorry.
Yes. No,
But
it's fine.
yeah, like,
You're not masking, you're masking less now that you're aware of your yeah,
yeah,
symptoms.
because it takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Like every day I felt really tired and I didn't know why. And now I feel less tired.
That's really good.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
And I think we have the power like to let go. Like we're all wearing masks, all of us, autistic or not. But when
Oh,
we stop caring about what other people think of us, then everything just is like a whole like a stone on your head. It falls off. This is how it feels when we just
yeah.
stop caring and just do what like fuels our soul. Then it's like everything is lighter. The steps are lighter, basically.
Yes. Life gets
We
lighter.
have to accept ourselves as we are.
Yes, for sure.
This is number one, and many people have a hard time just accepting, like if they are artistic, like you said, they're trying. Well, you didn't know, but even those who do know, they're still trying to fit in the majority of society, and they're masking themselves so hard that it's draining every part of them. It's just not
Yes.
worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Don't
And
drain yourself.
that really puts us into this, it makes us more inclined to be less healthy. But yeah,
Exactly.
you
That's not
just
healthy. That's self-sabotage, right? If we're not being kind to ourselves and we're doing all of this just to fit in. And what does that even
yes,
mean? And what does that give you? Like a
exactly.
reward? So
Exactly.
we have the power to take the steps we want and change our life around basically by
Yeah, and I
accepting.
think another important thing is that some autistic people may just be like, they not accepting that they need help, and we all need this support. It's important to have,
Yeah,
so
it
don't
is.
reject that. And there's I don't know how my family didn't find that out, because they're always they had to tell me like about eating and drinking water. I typically forget that to do.
Oh my
Like I,
God.
I go through the
Really?
whole day without, I don't remember
Okay.
to do. I'm thinking about other stuff, and so I just
So
yeah, I
when you're in
didn't.
that obsessed mood, you forget like the
I
basic
forget.
needs.
Yes, everything,
Wow.
everything, everything.
I'm having water to that.
Oh, I have a bottle here. See?
Let's have some water. Let's
Yes,
hydrate
hydrate
ourselves.
yourself. Hmm. But yeah, we're just we don't do things in automatic ways, I think. At least I'm
Mhm.
speaking for me. I think this is important to
Yeah.
highlight here. I'm speaking for like about my experience.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah, of
other
course, of
people,
course.
they're gonna have
Yeah.
different experiences, but like, oh, there's something really interesting. I'm just being random now. This this is a part of autism I didn't know. We just like to, when we're talking to someone we like you, we just throw information randomly, and this is interesting. Anyways, well, I forgot the information now,
It doesn't
so
matter.
let's
I
move
think
on.
no, no, no. All the things you've been, I think many people can resonate with this. And we're doing this podcast for that specific reason to talk more about autism because many people might be go through some of the similar symptoms and they might not be aware of what it is. So I will say, like, first step, notice if you're feeling overly drained, like your energy and everything. And then maybe find out like what it is. Go to a professional who can help you
Yes,
because then everything will become lighter for you in the sense of you are aware of your own symptoms, what it means that nothing is wrong with you, basically, right?
yes,
Because many
yes,
people think there's something wrong with them, and there's nothing wrong with them, you know?
yes. Just accepting that we are this way, and there's really not that much we can do. We can try to, you know, improve a little bit the symptoms to have a better life. But at the end of the day, there's not really that much we can do to behave the way that neurotypicals would behave. So just
Yeah.
accept you
So
as
just like
you
you
are.
said, like if you're feeling overwhelmed, like yeah, change your environment, small doses of interactions, and not doing too much
Yes.
in one day. Like not just
Yes.
go on your list. No, no, no. You need
Exactly.
extra time. Take your time, and it's okay if it takes longer. Like you're only competing with yourself. Stop comparing yourself to others. That's like a kill. And most
Yes.
people do that. They always comparing themselves to other people, and it's like you're not them and you don't know what they're going through. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
And well, I think that this can maybe help people understand better. What do you think? Do we talk about like the brain? Do you think that would help people understand about autism better, or
I don't
that would
know,
get too
like
technical maybe?
yeah, that might get too technical. I mean, there is a neurotransmitter imbalance in the brain, but that doesn't like mean much either because yeah, well, it means that it can affect your mood more than others because you're lacking the
Yes.
GABA and glutamate and that might like affect your mood and create this imbalance. And so as you said, the emotions are a bit harder to regulate than if your neurotransmitter were in balance. And you're overly sensitive, which means you have to intake less sensory like impressions, meaning
Yes.
interacting in social interaction is already too much. Like, and then if you're going to do exercise in a gym, you're gonna have an overdose basically.
You will. Yes, for
To the
sure.
sounds, to the noise, to the smell, because your senses are alert. It's like up here, and then anxiety kicks in.
It kicks in. Oh
Yeah.
yes, it does.
So
It
yeah,
does kicks in.
yeah, it does kick
Yeah.
in, and this is basically what happens. So yeah, your amygdala is always overworking.
Always overworking. It
Yeah,
works a lot. I
It
think
works a
it's
lot. It's always
we get
processing,
tired.
yeah, your emotions. It's always challenging. It's always trying to regulate, but it's hard for it. And that's why I say, if you can diminish the sensory overload to yourself, diminish the task on your list, you're
Hmm.
helping yourself. You're calming your amygdala a bit down, you know.
Yes, that's so important.
Yeah.
Calm
And
your
many people
amygdalas.
just go go go, they ignore it, and then they're burned out, they're depressed. They
Exactly.
even, it's not anxiety, even like there's several differences between anxiety and depression, but then they're like depressed, then it's tough to get out of that. Okay,
It
so
really is.
yeah, and you have been there, and that's why I'm saying, like, pay attention to your own overload. Only you can do that.
Yes, that is true. And
Yeah,
ask
be
for
kind
help.
to yourself. Yeah, be kind to yourself, and asking for help is being kind to yourself, right?
Yes.
Yes.
There
that,
is
that was my
there's
last
one.
remarks, but you, if you want to say something else about the brain, you're very welcome.
Oh no, I think you said most of it. I would get too technical. My notes are too technical. I prefer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I'm talking like okay. There's this study. I think it's cool. Well, there are so many here. If I say one, I'm gonna say them all. I know
Yeah,
myself.
so let's not go so much into
Let's
it.
not get
We're
into
coming
it.
to an end
Yeah.
as well, and the majority of people
Yes.
just want to know, what are the symptoms? What can I do to become like aware of it? How can I help myself? So this is basically what we're trying to do.
Yes.
Um,
And there's one important thing that I believe we should highlight. It goes into the misconceptions as well. That women don't tend to be autistic. They
what?
do. Yeah, some people believe women cannot be autistic, you
Oh,
know?
that is funny.
And yeah, that's when I saw that, I was like, no, that's not possible. But yeah, women can be autistic as well. But the interesting thing is that it is different. Autism in women is kind of different from autism in men.
Yeah,
Uh,
because the brain is
women,
different, basically.
yes, and also because women, they there's here. I'm gonna have to mention a study here. So there's this recent studies that found that autistic women are way more sociable than autistic men, and they tend to mask much more often to fit into society. They are judged
I could
much
imagine.
more than men, and so they just typically are misdiagnosed with something else, and this can get really bad for them. You know, they women wear the neurotypical mask so well that they just go through. People don't realize they can be autistic, and they just get really inclined to be depressed and have another health
Yeah,
problems,
so
many
if they're
health
good
problems.
maskers, which I do believe women have the tendency to do that, then yeah, then it's harder to diagnose. Of course, if
Yes,
women also autistic, like, but it
yeah,
makes so much sense what you just said. That explains it so well.
yeah. They're great at doing
Yeah,
masking, while
yeah,
we are not. Apparently,
yeah.
I am because
I think
you
men
know,
are, but maybe not in the same degree as women. So,
yeah.
Rick, before we end our episode, if people want to get in contact with you, if they have questions about autism or anything, where can they find you?
Well, on Instagram,
Yeah,
although I
I
just
will tag
changed.
you in the
I changed to
description.
my.
It's
Yes,
fine.
you can
I'll
edit
tag you
that.
so that I'll link your Instagram.
Yeah.
And you guys, as you know, I have clients. I work with autistic people, ADHD, and I help with anxiety, and that's my specialty. And I use hypnosis and apply neuroscience for that. So you can also reach out to me. Do offer a
Yes.
free
Do it.
consultation call. Yeah. So no, it's just an offer. I cannot heal the autism because it's
No,
not
there's
supposed
no
to be
healing.
healed. I can only help
Yes.
with the remedies, like we talked about. What you can
Yes.
do, come with brain hacks for what works for you, and this is basically what I assist with, and that is it. Not a magic pill.
Yes. Yeah. No, there's no magic pills, and
No,
there's no cure as well. I don't think
no.
we need a cure. We can do great stuff.
And being in nature, like we talked about in our first episode, longevity does so good to us.
Yes. Being in
So
nature. Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Autistic people, they tend to love nature.
Exactly, and it, because you're so overly sensory stimulated, so being in nature really calms you down.
It
Extra,
does.
okay, it does extra
Extra.
than it does for us. So I can recommend that highly. Meditate, pray, journal, like do good things for yourself.
Yes, and find someone who supports you. That's
Yeah,
really important. Don't be
support
alone.
is vital for our brain to survive, basically in every area. So support is very
Yes,
important. Yeah.
and social interactions. Don't be like
Yeah.
me, just hiding yourself from people.
No, that's not
Yeah,
good.
don't do that.
So,
That is not good. I know.
no. Yeah. Yeah. And be social. Try to be social, even if it comes with a cost, right? To be drained
It does.
afterwards. But then you're
Yes.
not supposed to do other things. Then you just relax, because it's still good for you and it's recommended for our brains to thrive. So,
Cool.
with this said, thank you, Rick, for coming on.
Thank you.
And people can reach out to us if they have more autistic like questions. And yeah, it was a
Yes.
pleasure having you on again for the
Ah,
second
that
time.
was my pleasure. Really cool. I love
Oh,
it.
thank you. Okay, Rick, we'll talk later, and I see you guys in the next
Yes.
episode. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.